Welcome back to the Deep Dive. Today, we are really diving into one of those defining pop culture stories from the late 2000s.
Yeah, it's Zanessa.
Exactly. The real-life romance that basically exploded out of High School Musical.
It's kind of wild to think that show launched almost 20 years ago now.
It really is. But, what made it such a massive thing wasn't just the songs.
Oh, definitely not. It was that chemistry between Vanessa Hudgens, who was 16, and Zac Efron, 17. You could just feel it real.
Totally palpable. And the sources we've got lined up today, interviews, old articles, insider accounts, transcripts, they paint a picture that, well, a lot more complex.
Yeah, much more messy than the sort of squeaky clean Disney.
For sure. So our mission here is pretty clear. We're going to dig deep into all this material.
We want to peel back the layers, understand how Troy and Gabriella on screen sort of mirrored, but also really clashed with Zac and Vanessa off screen.
Right. Especially when you get into the whole manufactured love triangle stuff.
Yeah.
And that awful photo leak scandal in 2007.
Traumatic.
So this deep dive, it's basically your shortcut to understanding how young Hollywood actually works.
How fast a private teenage thing becomes this huge high-stakes machine.
And the toll that takes.
Right.
Okay, let's get into it. Where it all began, that first meeting.
Okay, so first you got to set the scene, like corporate. Around 2005, Disney Channel was, they'd had success with Cheetah Girls.
Right.
But they wanted something new, something repeatable. They tried musical episodes on other shows.
And those worked.
Yeah, the reaction was like instant. Kids loved it.
So that leads to the executives, Gary Marsh, Michael Poirier. They decide, let's do a full musical movie.
Exactly. The idea was pretty simple, really. High school show, romance, drama, the work, High School Musical.
And the casting, that was a big deal, right? Not just finding talent, but finding people who click.
Oh, yeah, huge. They looked at a lot of people for Troy, Sterling Knight, Hunter Paris, Drew Seeley, Lucas Griel, too.
I'm for Gabriella.
Same. Monique Coleman was in the running. Ashley Tisdale auditioned for Gabriella.
Before she got Sharpay. Interesting.
Yeah. But it all came down to chemistry.
And this is where Zanessa basically just happened, like fate, almost.
Kind of.
Yeah.
The sources are really clear on this. Zac and Vanessa, they weren't just paired up once.
No.
They were put together for all three partner chemistry.
Wow. So the casting directors saw it.
They must have. Zac himself talks about it. Said they clicked from the very beginning.
So it wasn't just professional.
Not at all. He said the chemistry was undeniably electric. And, part of that was probably because they were actually falling for each other.
Right there during auditions and rehearsals.
Yeah. It's like extreme method acting, but for teenagers falling in love.
It makes sense they couldn't really pinpoint a first date.
Exactly. Their real life was getting tangled up with the movie life from day one.
Can we track when they actually, stepped out as a couple, even privately?
We can, yeah. The sources point to Ashley Tisdale's birthday party. That was October 2005.
Okay, so months before the movie even aired.
Right. At that point, nobody really knew who they were. Just two kids working for Disney. Their relationship started private.
That privacy didn't last long, though. January 20, 2006, High School Musical premieres.
And boom, 7.7 million viewers. Yeah. Nobody saw that. Not on that.
Massive for cable back then.
Huge. Biggest TV movie since Cheetah Girls. It wasn't just a hit movie. It was like a cultural moment.
And the soundtrack blew up, too.
Oh, yeah. Record shattered. And Zac and Vanessa, overnight, they went from unknowns to global teen idol instantly.
And everyone immediately zeroed in on as a couple.
Totally. It wasn't a side. Their real relationship was the story for a lot of people.
It kind of fulfilled that fantasy, didn't it? That the fairy tale on screen was real life, too.
Exact. Fans were rooting for Zanessa just as hard as they were for Troy and Gabriella. It cemented them as icons, but it also put their private lives under this, incredibly intense spotlight.
Which meant they weren't just dating anymore. They were, content.
Yeah. And the second Disney realized this accidental chemistry was now a multi-million-dollar brand.
They started to leverage it.
Uh-huh. And that meant, maybe stirring the pot a little, manufacturing some chaos.
Okay, so HSM explodes. Disney sees the power of Zanessa's real romance. What's the next move?
Well, they pivot fast. They know they've got gold, but, happy couples don't always make headlines week after.
Right, you need some friction.
Exactly.
Right.
So they decide they can, quote, manufacture a little bit of drama, buzz going, keep the magazines talking.
And this wasn't, a new idea for them.
Oh, not at all. The sources point out Disney had a playbook for it. Think back to the early 2000s, that whole mess with...
the Hilary Duff, Lindsay Lohan, Aaron Carter.
That's the one... The Smackdown, they called it, and Chad Michael Murray's drama around the same time.
Right. Messy personal lives meant massive tabloid coverage.
Which meant attention for the stars in their project. Disney also played up the Nick Jonas and Miley Cyrus thing, remember?
Mm-hmm. Drama cells.
Totally. So for HSM, they look around and think, okay, how do we add some drama here? And the easiest, most controllable way
was Ashley Tisdale.
Bingo. Frame Ashley, who played Sharpay, as the other woman.
Even though she was friends with Vanessa.
Yeah, but Sharpay was the rival on screen. So they just sort of extended that narrative into the real world publicity. It was deliberate.
How did they do that? Just through interviews?
Multiple ways. They used the Sharpay-Gabriella rivalry, obviously,
Okay.
but also photo shoot, pairing Zach and Ashley together in ways that looked maybe a little too friendly.
Mm-hmm.
And the big one, casting choice, specifically designed to make fans
Oh my God.
The main example everyone points to is casting Zach as Ashley's love interest on The Sweet Life of Zach and Cody.
Oh, right. I remember that episode.
Yeah, and it wasn't just a quick cameo. Sources say it had a pretty big and very long kissing.
Wow. Okay, that feels pointed.
Absolutely. It was pure strategy. You put your main couple's real-life boyfriend in a romantic scene with his co-star, who happens to be his girlfriend's best friend.
And you give the gossip blogs fuel for weeks.
Exact. Especially for fans who are already kind of looking for signs Zach Drake.
But wait, wasn't that risky? If Zanessa was the golden goose, why potentially mess with it by pushing Ashley into the mix?
That's a great question. I think Disney felt the core relationship was strong enough to handle it, and Ashley was. Well, she was safe.
How so?
She was already part of the Disney family, a known quantity. It wasn't like bringing in some random actress. They could control the narrative around Ashley much more easily.
And Ashley herself, she tried to shut it down, right?
Yes, she did. She kept saying Zach was like a brother. Apparently, she'd known him for years, even before HSM.
So the kiss on Sweet Life must have been weird for her, too.
She said it was. Described it as disgusting, awkward, like kissing your brother, especially, she said, because he was her best friend's boyfriend.
But did the fans listen?
Not really. Once the narrative was out there, people were like analyzing every photo, every glance on a red carpet. Some fans actually started rooting for Zach.
Wow. So the manufactured drama kind of took on a life of its own.
Totally. And on top of that, Zach was just becoming so famous, globally famous,
Right.
that sources mention other big Disney stars, like Miley Cyrus specifically, were apparently fawning over him all the time, even though everyone knew he was with Vanessa.
So it was like flirting with Zach was just okay because he was Zac Efron.
It kind of seemed that way. Like he was such hot property, the usual rules didn't apply. Miley even talked about having an obsession with him publicly.
That must have been incredibly weird. This whole intense kind of incestuous Disney world where boundaries are blurry.
Yeah. And all that constant external attention on Zach, even if it was innocent, it definitely added another layer of pressure.
So whether the drama was real, fake, or somewhere in between.
Disney got what they wanted. Zanessa stayed front and center in all the teen mags, all the gossip sites, just kept fueling the hype machine for the whole franchise.
Leading them right into the absolute peak of their fame together.
So moving into 2007, they'd kind of weathered that initial storm of manufactured drama.
And they made a big public statement, didn't they?
Yeah, that Ashley Tisdale stuff got pushed aside pretty effectively in March 2007. Vanessa released the music video for her song, Say Okay.
From her album, V.
Right, and who starred as her love interest in the video. Exactly. Everyone kind of knew they were together, but this was like the official public confirmation. It even cemented the nickname the press was Zanessa.
It was them saying, yeah, we're a couple.
Totally. And 2007 was just massive for them. High School Musical 2 came out.
And the ratings were insane.
Insane is the word. 17.2 million viewers. At the time, that was the biggest audience ever for any cable broadcast ever.
Wow. They weren't just famous. They were record-breakingly famous.
Yeah, true global phenomena. They were winning awards together, like Teen Choice Awards. Vanessa got Breakout Artist. The movie won. They were like this perfect unit.
But Zach was already looking beyond Disney, right?
Yeah, he landed that big role in Hairspray, a major non-Disney musical. That was his crossover.
And Vanessa was there supporting him.
Yep, on the red carpets, looking totally united. They seemed completely solid, almost untouchable.
But that level of fame, it makes you a target too.
Absolutely. Just when Vanessa should have been celebrating this incredible year, everything changed.
The photo leak, September 2007.
Yeah. Private, sensitive photos of Vanessa, who was just 18, leaked online without her consent.
And the clash with her Disney image was immediate and brutal.
Oh, totally unforgiving. It was a huge scandal. The media went into a frenzy.
Headlines were speculating Disney would drop her, right? Like rewrite HSM3 without Gabriella.
Instantly. Her whole career seemed like it was hanging by a thread. And remember, this kind of celebrity photo leak was still relatively new back then.
Was Disney's reaction genuine moral outrage or more about losing control of the brand?
Sources lean towards control. Joe Jonas, who was deep in the Disney system then, actually talked about it.
Oh, yeah. What did he say?
He confirmed Vanessa was basically held up in the Disney offices for a whole day, while executives were freaking out trying to figure out how to, quote, keep her on lockdown.
Wow, lockdown, not support her or protect her privacy.
Nope. It sounds like it was all about damage control and protecting the brand, not really about the well-being of an 18-year-old whose private violated.
Rough. She had to issue a public apology.
Yeah, expressing embarrassment, trauma, regret about the photos even being taken. It was clearly devastating.
She talked about it more recently, too.
Yeah, in 2020, she called really traumatized. Said her privacy felt effed up and violated. It really highlights the dark side of that early.
But this moment, this crisis, it became a defining test for Zanessa, didn't it? How did Zach react?
This is key. According to sources close to them, Zach was incredibly loyal. Publicly, he stayed quiet, smart PR. Didn't want to fan the...
But behind the scenes?
He stood by her completely, supported her through the whole media onslaught.
So that kind of puts the PR relationship rumors to bed, doesn't it? Going through something that traumatic together.
It definitely suggests a much deeper bond. That shared crisis probably cemented their relationship in a way nothing else could have. They needed each other to survive it.
And Disney.
What
was their final call?
Ultimately, it came down to the scandal was bad, but the promotional power of Zanessa, the fact that Troy and Gabriella were High School Musical,
was just too valuable to lose.
Exactly. They figured HSM3 couldn't work without both, so Vanessa stayed. The franchise rolled on.
But the spotlight, the scrutiny, that didn't go away.
No way. It just shifted its focus. #Tag4, navigating rumors and career divergence, 2007-2010.
Okay, so Zach's loyalty gets them through the 2007 crisis, but the pressure didn't let up, right? It just kind of changed.
Exact. The focus shifted inward onto their relationship dynamics, trust, and the fact their careers were starting to go in slight...
Oh, so Zach's Hairspray success, huge.
Massive. He was hitting that legitimate A-list crossover level, and that apparently caused some real friction for Vanessa. Understandable.
She admitted being jealous.
Yeah, she talked about struggling with it, said it wasn't necessarily about Zach doing anything wrong, but just the sheer volume of attention he got, that constant swarm of adoring girls everywhere.
That makes sense. He was suddenly getting this huge validation outside the Disney world, and maybe she wasn't getting the same thing at the same time.
Right, and she was pretty candid about it. I said she went through a really mean phase, giving these girls death stares.
Wow.
Yeah, she acknowledged she had to work through that purity to really trust him.
And then there were the external rumors.
Nonstop, like the whole Lindsay Lohan thing.
Right, the alleged cheating rumors.
Yeah.
What's the story there?
Well, Zach never commented, but Lindsay Lohan had that infamously leaked list of guys she'd supposedly been with.
And Zach's name was on it.
It was. And later, Lindsay confirmed the list was accurate.
But the timing wasn't clear. Like, if it happened while he was with Vanessa.
Exactly. It's unconfirmed when it supposedly happened, but just having his name out there, like, it created this constant PR head, a cloud of suspicion.
So even if nothing happened, they were always having to sort of prove they were okay.
Pretty much. Every public appearance was scrutinized. Were they close enough? Did they look happy?
And Zach's press tours probably didn't help, like for Hairspray.
No, that was intense too. Especially questions about his on-screen romance with Nikki.
What happened there?
In one interview, Zach was kind of playing up the chemistry, maybe trying to be funny or promotional. Said they didn't even rehearse the kiss and joked that he and Nikki got a...
That must have been awkward for Vanessa to see. Her boyfriend joking about having a thing with his co.
Yeah, it reinforces that idea that sometimes the relationship comes second to promoting the movie or the career.
Didn't Ashley Tisdale comment on that too?
She did. She was often in those interviews with them, and apparently she said something dry like, he's the king of making out with his star film.
Keeping it real.
But, you know, it all just fed the speculation machine.
So with all these rumors and the fact that maybe they weren't seen out on tons of private dates, did people start asking if it was just PR again?
Yeah, that question kept coming up. Was it just a strategy to boost the movies?
But the photo scandal kind of argues against that, doesn't it?
It really does. The fact they weathered that together and stayed together for years suggests something much more real than just a publicity. They were bonded by that shared crazy.
They still had to keep up appearances, though.
Yeah.
Especially for HSM3.
Oh, yeah. High School Musical 3, senior year, got a theatrical release. Massive. Huge.
Which meant even more press, more red carpets, more everything.
Nonstop. Teen Choice Awards, Kids' Choice Awards, every event. And sources back then noted how, like, every red carpet kiss was guaranteed to make headlines. It was almost performative.
Showing the world Troy and Gabriella were still solid.
Exact. But behind the scenes, they were apparently really trying to find some normal.
Like what?
Just normal stuff. Hitting the gym, getting frozen yogurt, hanging out with friends who weren't famous, trying to be a regular young couple while millions watched their every move.
That sounds exhausting.
Incredible. And by 2010, you could see the Disney chapter close.
Zach was making big moves. 17. Again, Charlie St. Cloud.
Yeah, he was executing his exit plan, becoming a serious movie star.
Yeah.
And Vanessa was doing it too, with films like Band Slam, Beastly.
Branching out.
Right. But she was still showing up for him, supporting him at the Charlie St. Cloud premiere. Even though she wasn't in it, they still look strong.
It really seemed like they might actually navigate that tricky transition to adult stardom together. Tag font. The end of the fairy tale and lingering questions.
What?
2010 present.
But that image of unity, of them making it through, it finally broke. December 13th, 2000.
The news hit that Zanessa was over after 4 years.
4 very public, intense years.
And the fan reaction was pretty devastating.
Oh, huge.
Right.
It sounds dramatic, but for millions of fans who grew up with HSM, it felt like proof that the fairy tale wasn't real. People were genuinely asking, like, is love even real if Troy and Gabriella couldn't last?
So the initial reports, the PR spin, what did they say?
The usual stuff. Amicable, no drama, no one cheated, just drifted apart, clean, simple, protects both their careers.
But the real reason was maybe more practical.
Seems like it. Vanessa talked about it later. It really came down to distance and career demands.
Okay.
They were in their early 20s, both laser focused on building their post-Disney careers, and they were filming huge movies on opposite sides of the planet.
Zach was doing the lucky one.
And Vanessa was shooting Journey 2, The Mysterious Island. She basically said, look, long-distance relationships are hard no matter what.
That feels much more relatable than just drifting apart. It's the reality of two ambitious people trying to build global careers.
Exactly. It sounds like career kind of won out over proximity.
Was there any, last gasp, a reunion rumor?
There was, briefly. Just a few weeks after the split, January 2011, they were seen together at some Hollywood party.
Spotted kissing.
Yeah, laughing, kissing. It definitely sparked rumors they were getting back together.
But it didn't.
No, pretty soon after that, Vanessa started dating Austin Butler, and that was a long-term thing for her. So Zanessa was definitively over. They just sort of faded into each other's history.
How have they talked about it since? Zach, for instance.
Zach's generally been pretty diplomatic, polite, says they don't keep in touch, but acknowledges she, an extremely important part of his life, keeps it brief.
And Vanessa.
She's been much more open, actually, and her perspective is really, I think, the key to understanding the whole thing.
What did she say?
She put it simply. We grew up. She explained that being with Zach, someone going through the exact same insane, massive phenomenon, that weird foreign thing of Disney fame, it actually kept her grounded.
Wow. So the relationship was almost like a necessary anchor in that crazy storm.
That's exactly how she frames it. Their stability didn't come despite the fame. It came because they were the only two people on Earth who truly understood what the other...
That shared experience created this unique bond, this protective bubble.
Right. Something no one outside that specific weird world provide.
But she also hinted there's more to the story, that we don't know everything.
Oh, yeah. Big time. She said the public only sees so much, and then she dropped that line that no one really knows what happened.
And then the kicker.
When I write my memoir, it will be amazing.
Which basically says you think you know the story, you have no idea.
Exactly. It perfectly sums it up. Our relationship lived entirely in public, analyzed to death, but ultimately its deepest truths are private.
And now, fast forward to today, 2024, it seems like things are good between them, or at least respectful.
Yeah, totally mature. When Zach heard that both Vanessa and Ashley Tisdale were pregnant recently, he had nothing but positive things to say.
What did he say?
Called them the best moms ever, and said he looked forward to fun family reunions.
Wow. That's actually a really nice, kind of wholesome ending to a story that was often pretty chaotic. # tag outro.
It really was an odyssey, wasn't it? From that first accidental spark in a cast
to becoming global icons, shattering records.
Surviving major scandals like the photo leak, dealing with all the manufactured industry drama.
Only for it to end because, well, adult life and demanding careers got in the way.
Yeah. I think the big takeaway, the real knowledge gained here, is just how crucial that shared experience.
Right. That relationship wasn't just romance. It was like a psychological partnership, maybe essential for surviving that level of fame so young.
Definitely. It grounded them when everything else was spinning out of...
But that leads to the final thought, doesn't it? The provocative question for you, the listener.
Yeah, if Vanessa herself says the public only sees so much, that the real story is still waiting for her memoir,
then how much of any celebrity narrative we consume, from the gossip blogs to the official interviews, is actually authentic?
How much is genuine connection and how much is just performance? The price they pay to keep that simple, digestible fairy tale narrative going for the public.
If even the stars say the deepest reality is hid, what are we really seeing? And what's the true cost of maintaining that illusion? Definitely something to mull over. Thanks for joining us on this deep dive. We'll see you next time.